author. And that's what, oh,
Sorry, I'm picking that back up.
oh yeah.
I need to prove it.
Yeah, and she even said that last week, Dominique, she was saying, we're just gonna go by their last names. These titles are too long and they're too much the same. I go, okay.
And that's right.
I can see that. So more. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. There was several, I thought, in the books with some great examples. So we were on the 1.13 logistics, which this came with Gavin. And now that makes me wonder which book it is, because I've got the books in my head, not the authors. But that's the clear coaching agreement, making sure the meeting space is prepared, confirming your time and location, and then just repeating that. Was there anybody see anything else in that section of reading? That was pretty straightforward. Okay. See if I have anything else in this section. I think that's it. Oh no, I've got a little bit more. Anything else?
So I think I'd be interested in hearing exactly how you guys went about studying. Because I kind of went over the content outline for the NBHWC in conjunction with what the Dr. Sears gave us with the format there. And so for the resources, I read the pages that were kind of listed there. Is that kind of what you guys did, or you read more than that? I just want to make sure I'm doing it right.
I read what they gave us, and I thought that was enough this week to keep caught up on all that.
Yeah.
And then I took notes in I highlighted and I took some notes in a notebook, which I probably wrote down way too much, but oh well.
I know. I was actually hoping in the study group, I thought that they were going to maybe give us like some outlines where every week we would like fill things in so that I could put it in a binder, you know what I mean? Almost like an outline of like, fill this in, or to answer questions. So for me, I'm like, it makes me like a little nervous. Like, I feel like the content this week, I feel like I do have a good grasp on it, the introduction, but I know that as we go along, a lot of like the psychology elements are going to get a lot more challenging.
Yep.
And that's what makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I found myself just printing out the lecture notes basically from the advanced class.
Yeah.
I know
I thought about doing that.
And
like
just making notes on that.
Yeah.
There is a Facebook group, which another coach invited me into, and I'm waiting to get in. But in that group, there, I don't know who did it. I don't know. I haven't got in there yet to know. But the other coach sent me the notes from each section, and they are excellent notes. And I didn't get the ones for today's section until this morning and started looking at them. And I realized what I've been sent is pure gold. So
can you share it with us?
Share the wealth, Phyllis.
Absolutely, I will. I didn't recognize what it was until I got my hands on it and started reading it. And it's a fabulous summary of everything we've read today.
Wow.
So once I started looking at that, just probably about 10 o'clock this morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I need to help us all walk through, because it's just a beautiful summary. So I will send that to you.
Thank you.
The first thing he sent me was next week's. He sent me a thing on 1.3. And I'm like, oh, I really like this. This is it, and it's different. It looks like whatever group met before, they each took a section and summarized it. So they laid it out differently, but that's okay because it's still a nice summary.
That's so nice that he's sharing that with you.
Yeah. Well, some other coach got him in that Facebook group, but it's all, to study for the national exam. So
paying it forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So as soon as I get in that group, I will invite each of you.
Thank you.
I've watched and nothing has happened today. You have to answer some questions, but it's just proven that you're a health coach is all it is.
Right. And that you're probably taking the national board. Yeah, that would be excellent. If you don't mind emailing us today's, and since they sent you next week's too, so we have it for next week.
Yep, you betcha. I will do that after we sign off because I just,
Thank you, Phyllis.
oh yeah. But when you see this, you're going to go, oh my goodness.
It's gonna be like
kinda
that.
Glad though that I read everything and made my own notes.
Oh yeah.
Going back and reading this summary is just like, it just helps it to soak in.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just kind of puts the icing on the top.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very helpful. Okay, well, let's move on then, unless anybody's got something before we go. We'll go to section 1.2, the first session or before. Oops, sorry. Are you there? Did I lose you?
Oh no, we're here.
We're here.
Okay. It just popped up telling me that the recording was available. So,
Oh.
first section. Okay, so the overview of first session or before is the coach's aims for the initial session are to describe the coaching process, review information and assessments provided by the client, and determine if the client is an appropriate candidate for coaching. And I think a couple of you may have mentioned that you recognize sometimes not all clients are appropriate for you as the coach, or that they may need a therapist, not a coach. So
Yes.
the coach clarifies roles and expectations, and logistics and responsibilities, the coach versus the client, are confirmed in that agreement. And that's kind of what we just said a second ago too. So, so that's the overview. So I go into this other section of notes. So it's not organized the same as the first section. So this person has organized this by the book. So that it doesn't keep me logical here in my flow, but that's okay. I think it still works okay. Making sure the coaching is a good fit. Are you the right coach? This comes from Arlovsky's book, Wellness Coaching for Lasting Lifestyle Change. The coach is an ally in partnership with the client. Requires them to make their own health decisions with your support. Agreement clarifies who's responsible for what. Asking permission, we've talked about that, honors the client and their own ability to help themselves. And here, this person made this note about the distinction between the corporate coach, like we have with Jen, versus the self-employed coach. There was some discussion there about how much time you can spend in the initial session. So Jen, I assume you probably have a kind of a tight time frame.
You know, that's the thing is I will, like, once it's measurable, but I found it so difficult still, like in this pilot, it was so hard for me to stay within 20 minutes. And I noticed like 30 minutes usually was a better time frame, but always had like 2 clients that it's like there's no way. We always were at like 45 minutes to an hour. And it was like so hard to like wrap it up because they just were so emotional and really needed like the positive affirmations. So I'm still learning how I'm going to manage that once it does be medically billable. Cause yeah, it's going to definitely be like, they're going to be scheduled by a front desk receptionist. So, I mean, you only have that time.
Will, do you keep your sessions to 30 minutes?
The congruing sessions, yes. The initial session usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there's a lot of material. And I found that when we were in the course as well, when I was doing my mock one that we all had to do. It's just a lot to go over. Plus the friendly banter and all that kind of stuff. It's hard to keep it to just 30 minutes. So I find that the initial, I feel like it's important and valuable to spend more time on that first session. And then that makes all the other sessions that I'm able to get between, 15 and 30 minutes, I'm able to get it done in, pretty easily that way, because you already set it up with some in between emailing and contacts and, checking up and making sure that they're doing whatever tool you may have gave them in between and all that kind of stuff. So that tapers down the time, but that initial one for me is 45 minutes to an hour.
Maybe it's because I'm in Tennessee and maybe we talk more, or maybe I talk more, but I don't know how to get it. I don't know how to do a 30-minute session. I couldn't do it
It's
before.
hard.
I couldn't do them.
It's hard.
It's more about 45 minutes, seems like to me.
Because then we also, in those OARs, we're always like reaffirming them, but then we were like repeating back to make sure that we're understanding correctly. So I feel like, that it just all takes so much time.
Yeah. Is anyone on us that they really have to be done at the top of the hour? Just a quick check, because we can.
I do.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what we can do to fast forward here a little bit. From the book.
And Phyllis, sorry, what paper are you reading off of? I was just curious.
The summary that I got this morning.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's far better organized than my notes. So,
And they're probably more concise. My notes I got a lot of notes here. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I got notes, and mine are like, I feel like just all over.
Yeah. Well, and when we can all work from the notes together, when we all have this, and again, I apologize, if I'd have recognized what I had, you would have had it this morning too.
Oh, that's okay. We just
No
appreciate
worries.
that you're going to share it with us.
Yeah, it's coming your way, I promise. The note here, I don't know which book this is from without my notes, but the foundation session about how to conduct that. The steps were connecting to the client with honesty and sincerity, provide quick introduction, determine what they're looking for. If the client has completed the wellness packet, you can start to bring that into the session, into focus. Taking the opportunity to recognize and acknowledge any strengths that you see, explain the role of coaching, getting the client to identify 1 to 2 goals that you want to work on, getting the agreement signed, ensuring the client knows what to do for the next meeting, and leave them with an inquiry about themselves and their way of life. So that was a quick summary from, I think that's Orlowski's book. Do you remember when we were reading, you read about the IAC and the ICF, those summaries, the International Alliance for Coaching and the International Coaching Federation? They have their coaching masteries, or the other one, the coaching competencies. The ICF divided it into 4 phases. Do you all remember that?
I don't actually.
Yeah.
I have the core competing skills of coaching for ICF, and it was more of a definition. I have that written down, and the IAC definition. And then they talked about the setting the foundations, focus, attention, time orientation, types of conversation. Is that what you're talking about? Ways of relating?
Yeah. Well, the IAC had the 9, which was establishing, maintaining a relationship. 3 was engaged listening. Clarifying was 6. They had 9 competencies. Then the ICF had 11, but they divided them into phases. So the first phase was setting the foundation. The second phase was co-creating the relationship, communicating effectively. You remember that?
Yeah. Second of ICF, 11 core competencies. Okay. So there's the agreement,
And
the
that was
ability.
in Bart's book, The Wisdom of the Whole.
Yeah. This was I have this on Gavin too. I don't know. That's where I took that one
Well,
from.
and it might be Gavin. Again, these aren't mine.
Well, they were kind of overflowing, and that's what they're saying. If they're in all these books, it must be important, because they had us read one thing and it was only in one book. And I was like, well, I guess that's not as important as these other things, right?
Right. Let's see. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's just look at the first session and before the competencies, because we've got 3 minutes left before a couple have to go. So The competencies include setting the stage, setting the client the stage. That includes rapport, engaging the client's intention. 1.2.2 was determine if the individual is a candidate. 1.2.3, explain the coaching process. Establish the coaching agreement. We've talked about that a little bit. If no one has questions about that. The next session with this really could talk about assessments. And then I think we've talked about time management. So
Mhm.
how challenging it is.
Yeah, some of those assessments were good. I don't know if you guys took any of that one in particular. It was kind of interesting.
Which
Kind of your learning style or whatever. I think
Yeah.
that might be a good thing to.
I've done that a long time ago. I use the wellness wheel. Does anyone use something
I
different?
do too. And
Yeah.
I
I
feel like
like
a lot
that
of
one.
people really
Like that one.
they have lots of aha moments with the wellness wheel, I feel.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
really do. I also take that and turn that into a wellness map. I don't know if you all,
Yeah.
that's really the little bubble chart, and that's what we work for to set goals and stuff. I find that works pretty well.
Mhm.
Before anyone has to go, Will or Emma, is there anything you want to bring up or question before you have to leave?
No, I mean, I think if we can, maybe we can discuss exactly like maybe what we want to focus on for the next meeting, I guess, in between time or,
Yeah, that's fine. I haven't read ahead, so I
No,
don't.
Me either.
So what do we have? We have, what, 1.3 to 1.5 that's what we're,
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Early. Okay, second. I wish they could have typed this up any smaller.
yeah,
I could barely read it.
we wanted to fit it all on one page.
Yeah, it's like, wow. Well, a couple pages anyways. But anyhow, I'm glad that we have this. It's something.
Yeah. Well, we continue in the coaching structure for next week, and then we change over to the coaching process.
Okay.
So we're still in the structure. So early, and then we talk about the early sessions, we talk about the ongoing sessions, and then taking it to the close of the program.
Yep.
And then there's the fun part of listening to all those recordings.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't find that enjoyable, but maybe you all do.
I
I do
do
not.
not either.
No. but
That's not my learning style. That's part of my problem.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
I think I'm more of a kinesthetic learner. So,
Yeah, I'm a very visual learner, so talking to me on a recording doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I have found that I found an app, a free app, where it will transcribe all of the everything that's said. That actually does a pretty good job. And then I can sit and read it, and that helps me a whole lot because listening just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's what we'll be doing next week. Any comments or questions anybody wants to raise before we close?
Great job, Phyllis,
Thank you
for
for-
moderating this.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
no
Phyllis.
kidding. Keeping us on task here. You did a really good
Well,
job.
I'll keep trying to do that as best as I can, but I think once everybody has these summaries to work with, I think you'll find that I think you'll see the blessing in that. So if you watch, let's become Facebook friends. So once that I get the confirmation on being accepted into that group, I can invite you all into that group.
Okay,
Good.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Phyllis Fox. I think it's just that plain. If it's not, it's Phyllis B. B as in boy Fox. So, but you'll see my picture, my husband's picture. You may see my grandchildren's picture, but it's me. I'm in Tennessee, if that helps you to identify me.
We'll go find you.
All right. I will look for you all too.
All right.
Okay, well, that's the close of our session. So thank you all. Many
Thanks,
blessings.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
And I'll be back in touch on email to let you know about the Zoom for next week.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.